Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City, who's in L.A.
You know what Dave Weinberg used to have? A really good duster.
That's
Dave
true.
Weinberg sported a championship mustache for many, many years.
Dave, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well.
You might want to tell him why we're saying
Pete Thompson has stolen your mustache, and he is now rocking the duster.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
That's what a lot of people are saying. Mike wants me to keep it. Some people want me to shave it, so that's why we're on that topic.
He mentioned that you once had a great duster.
Long time. Well, I guess, about 10 years ago, maybe.
All right, Dave.
I had it for a long time, yeah.
All right. Well, a lot of people went that route there, PT. You should go that route, too. Dave, you're in L.A., where the Eagles are getting ready for the Rams. This is an odd situation out there where the Eagles are in L.A., and the home team had problems practicing today, and the road team didn't.
Yeah. The Eagles are actually practicing at Angel Stadium. Mike Trout's home away from home. And that's about 100 miles from where the fires have started. And but the Rams are considered to be closer. And there's like a air quality issue with them for today anyway. So they opted to just do a walkthrough where their normal practice facility is at Cal Lutheran. So, the Eagles are they're the visiting team, but they got the benefit of the situation today.
Now, to this point, is there any concern or thought that there might be an issue of playing this game on Sunday?
Not at the moment. I mean, I talked with both Coach Peterson and Coach McVay, and neither of them seem to be too concerned about it. I guess the league's kind of monitoring the situation. I think the winds are supposed to calm down by the weekend, and I think that'll be a big advantage for them, as far as fighting the fires are concerned. So as of now, I think that they're pretty confident the game's going to be held, but of course everything could change, depending on how the winds blow and stuff.
Dave, you wrote at pressofatlanticcity.com that it's not always sunny in Pennsylvania and that there's no reason to panic yet. This is a big game for them, and I'd like to kind of get to gauge the temperature of how this team is kind of feeling after that loss Sunday night. Do you sense a team that is more business-like this week? Because it seemed that the story afterwards was Doug Peterson kind of coming out and Malcolm Jenkins as well, saying, I don't know that we were prepared the way we would have liked to prepared.
Yeah, that was kind of a strange comment. You don't usually find a coach that will admit that kind of thing. But I'll probably get a better sense of it when they're actually supposed to practice in about 15 minutes out on the field. So I'll get a kind of a gauge for it. But Doug had mentioned today that he's kind of hoping to both combine having fun at practice with getting, focused on the game, which wasn't a problem for most of the season, but for some reason, I guess last week it was. We don't get to watch practice, so I really don't know. But, it was kind of odd that he would make that kind of forthright statement. Usually coaches are pretty, keep things close to the vest and just, accept responsibility for whatever goes wrong. So, this is the first time that their focus has come into question. So it's going to be anxious to see. I'll be anxious to see how they bounce back from that.
Yeah, Dave, that was something I picked up with Mike Gill on Monday, or maybe it was Tuesday, I guess, talking about the fact that if you're trying to sharpen your focus, maybe staying at a 5-star plush hotel where they have a room service and turn-down service isn't the way to lock in.
Well, Doug kind of mentioned the fact that he kind of used it as maybe a potential bonding experience. This is the first time they've actually spent an entire week away. I mean, the last time it happened, I remember, it's probably like 1995 when they all went to Vero Beach, Florida to get ready for a playoff game. That didn't turn out so well, but they're hoping for a different outcome today, this weekend, of course. But, yeah, I think it might being, outside of the distractions or the attention or the criticism or that the fan base kind of gives you when things don't go so well, maybe getting away from Philadelphia for a week and kind of hunkering down and focusing on the task at hand, maybe that'll be a good thing for them.
So much of the national attention on this game is going to be Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Jared
Sure.
Goff. Are there storylines that are a little bit hidden below the surface that you're looking at?
Well, everybody wants to focus on that, and even both Carson and Jared kind of mentioned that today. But There aren't. It's not the specific storyline. It's just the fact that the Eagles really need to win this game. I mean, of course, you always want to win every game, but the fact that the Seahawks kind of, I don't want to say exposed them, but kind of showed their shortcomings a little bit, pretty much dominated them, really, I thought. And this is going to be a real test of the Eagles' ability to prove that they actually are an elite team in this league. I mean, they did a pretty good job of doing it for the first 10 or 11 weeks of the season, but now that there's adversity in front of them, I'm just kind of anxious or I'm kind of looking forward to see how they respond to that, to see if they take care of business here, clinch the NFC East, which still hasn't been done yet, and then kind of put that stranglehold a little bit, or at least keep pace with Minnesota for the top seed in the playoffs.
Dave Weinberg with us, Press of Atlantic City. Now, Dave, since Carson Wentz and Jared Goff do dominate a lot of the conversation, Mike and I talked about how much Jared Goff gets McVay's sort of quarterback whispering, and then we know that Wentz gets a lot of quarterback instruction from all those guys. How do you compare the two of them and where they're at versus the amount that they have to lean on information? Like, I guess in year two, would you say that Wentz is ahead on his learning curve from where Goff is, or do you just look at the numbers?
Yeah, I think so, only because this is a new system for Jared. I mean, he didn't have this last year, so he's kind of starting all over almost with Sean, and made amazing progress. But the fact that Carson's had a year of experience with Doug and Frank Reich and John DeFilippo, the quarterback's coach, that puts him a year ahead of him. I mean, he's more comfortable with the offense, more confident in his decision-making, has a pretty good rapport with the guys, some of the returning guys like Zach Ertz. I mean, it took a while to build some of that with Alshon Jeffrey and those new guys, but Jared's kind of learning things all over again. But like I said, he's made amazing progress and has an outstanding season. But I would kind of give Carson, I guess, the slight edge as far as the learning curve is concerned.
Since you brought up Zach Ertz, so what's the latest on him, and do you think he'll play on Sunday?
Honestly, I don't know. He's still in the concussion protocol. Doug did mention that, unlike some other guys, he's not going to need a whole lot of practice time to play. I mean, he can miss today and tomorrow and maybe even Friday and still be able to get out there, if it's possible. But as you know, the league rightfully sides on the year on caution as far as concussions are concerned. So until he gets out of the protocol, I guess you really can't count on him. But I do know that if he's able to play, he'll be able to step in there without having to practice 2-3 days.
Hey, Dave, a lot of people were not happy with the way Doug was a little conservative, and that there was that they played a little tight. But I said that I thought Wentz was at the top of the list as to why they lost that game. Does your column insinuate that you put the blame on Wentz more than anybody as well?
Yeah, I mean, the turnover was huge down by the goal line, plus the interception too, which to a lesser extent. But, I mean, if you're going to put the blame on one person, I guess that's it. I would kind of think it's more of like a team-wide kind of thing. I don't think the defense really stepped up to the plate either. I mean, they had no answer for Russell Wilson at all. He pretty much had his way. And if you're going to be a team that's considered, a contender to reach the Super Bowl, you just can't have this kind of letdown. So it's again, it's going to be, I know it's kind of a rarity because there's nobody else really like Russell. So, but it's going to be interesting to see how both the offense and the defense and even the coaching staff bounces back from that.
Yeah, and of course the missed throw to Aguilar and the underthrow to Aguilar. He did not play his best game, but check out Dave's piece at pressofatlanticcity.com. He joins us here live from Los Angeles for Eagles and Rams. Thanks, Dave.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.